bad news situation is a Hall of Famer has passed away. Hall of Famer Alicia Rio has passed away. Now, there are mixed reports on this. They said supposedly she died for contracting the corona, but she has been failing health. Some people, you hear this, says dies following about the COVID, in other words, or contracting, or basically the complications due to the corona. But we're going to read this off of AVN, Los Angeles. This was written by Peter Warren, and this was on the 25th. Alicia Rio, the AVN Hall of Famer performer who appeared in hundreds of titles during the 1990s, died on January, and we're just getting this now, January 17th, from unknown complications possibly connected to having contracted COVID, friends told AVN. According to the Internet database, she was 55. Rio's former husband, retired performer Steve Houston, told AVN that he learned of Rio's passing on January 18th from her niece, who said Rio has been found unresponsive at home the night before. At this point, I can't really tell you what the cause of death was. Houston said they did bring up COVID, but really waiting to hear from the coroner office comes up with, we'll just leave it as it. She passed peacefully and quietly at home. The possibility that Rio's death was COVID related has been echoed by many close to her, including an immediate relative who posted on Facebook, "Is we believe ultimately a bout with COVID that cut her life shorter than we would have hoped and expected." Houston related that she first met Rio in the summer of 1980 at a skating rink. It was an all-night summer skating rink that they would do once a year, where they were from. We were both from LA, he said, and in 1986 we got married and would be married all the way up to 98. At the time Rio entered the industry in 1991, Houston noted that she was the deputy city treasurer for the city of San Gabriel. So she was actually a government official. He recalled, at the time, I was at the Rio Honda Police Academy getting hired with the Monrovia Police Department. We were kind of an interesting couple that came into the business. One day she decided she didn't want to be a city treasurer anymore, and she wanted to be dancing and having fun, I guess. We had an amazing adventure in the industry, he went on. She was loved by everyone. She was a real deal for the industry. She didn't come into the business because she needed money. She didn't come into the business because she came from an abusive family, or like you'll hear about. She came into the industry to become famous. She came into it because she loved having sex, and she just wanted to have her freedom to do what she liked doing. Elaborating on Rio's transformation from government to job to entertainer, Houston imparted that she was the first Hispanic in the history of San Gabriel to be elected the deputy city treasurer position. See, this is what we say, that basically the glass ceiling has always been broken. She has a bachelor degree in business, and she went up for another higher position, which would be the city administrator. She had been there for 5 years. Then they passed her up. They hired a pretty little blonde girl who was there part-time for 2 years. Later, we found out that the pretty little blonde girl was doing the people that she needed to move up the position. In other words, she slept all the way up. And when she found out that, she came to me one day very depressed and said, "You know what? I got effed and didn't enjoy it, and I want to do the effing now." Because she had accrued so much vacation time during her tenure, Houston explained, Rio was able to collect wages from the city for 6 months while she embarked on her adult movie career. As for himself, when Rio adult work became an implement to his being able to pursue his lifelong dream of becoming a police officer, Houston said he chose to follow her on that path and has no regrets about doing so. Though he left the industry in 2002, he reports that he and Rio would have stayed very close, very tied up until the day she passed away. Everything she said she would do, she would send pictures, and we talked about it. It's a sad loss. She was my best friend. I have to agree. She was a very, very beautiful actress. I believe from Mexico way, and I've had some of her videos. I have a couple of her videos that you can't even get. There's a slew. I mean, if you go through her IMDb, I mean, she, with Borderland, Pajama Party, Ski Bunnies, the ripoff of In Living Color on there, and many others that she's done. I mean, she's done some really good films, and this is a girl that wasn't afraid to do these films. And also, she's been in regular movies. Fear of a Black Hat she was in, and a couple of others where she's done some side roles that, in the back, which a lot of other adult stars have done as well. I mean, your Tracy Lords, when she got out of the adult industry, she was basically doing low budget films. I mean, she started out as she was getting out of the adult industry. She had little parts in Married with Children and a couple other series. She did a Stephen King. But for, Alicia Rio, who was, doesn't get talked about. When it comes to the Hispanics in the adult industry, everybody always go to Vanessa Del Rio in most cases. But there were a lot of other women and men who basically of the Hispanic descent who made it through the adult industry, didn't have that many problems. And the thing about it is, like it said in her bio, she wasn't looking to get rich. She wanted to become famous. She had the money. She didn't come from an abusive family. She had a good upbringing, and she just wanted to do this. She just wanted, and there are some people in the industry that does. Some of them are still in the industry, and others have moved on. Sharon Mitchell, who was in the industry for many years, has gone from the adult industry to becoming a doctor, helping people in the industry when it comes to certain diseases like the AIDS and many other sexually transmitted diseases in the industry. Many people have moved on onto there. So it's a shame. I mean, rest in peace, Alicia Rio.